Spencer, EDR programs, I'm assuming a lot of users just sort of turn it on and hope it does its best. They just kind of want to see how well it does out of the box. And I don't know if they even know how well it's doing at that point out of the box. Do they?
I'm not sure they do. I mean, typically when you buy EDR, there's a 30-day tuning period that comes out of the box. So it'll learn about your behaviors. Do you open Microsoft Word? Do you open Excel? How often do you use it? But after that 30 days, it's kind of set. And I think very often people assume that when they buy one of these tools, that it kind of protects them against all things on all devices all the time, kind of out of the box.
Oh, so it's like learning your initial behavior, and then they just kind of assume, oh, this is your regular behavior, but baselines always change. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. I would also say, imagine that you're a typical organization. You're adding employees, you're firing employees, you're adding software, Windows is updating, Mac is updating. That 30-day period is not going to be representative in the world that's changing today. So I think it is a true baseline. The challenge is it's not actually evolving and tuning past that point.
Is there something that needs to be done that retunes it? And also, if it's going on endless sort of 30-day cycles, there seems that there are going to probably be gaps on the effectiveness of the EDR in every cycle. Yes?
Yes, which I think is why so many organizations turn to managed detection and response. They're basically acknowledging that just buying EDR out of the box isn't enough. In fact, there was a really interesting cyber insurance report that came out last week that said we will no longer insure organizations that just have EDR installed. You actually have to have managed detection and response on top of it. And the reason is for this exact point, which is unless you're actively managing and improving your detection response capability, it's not actually valid anymore.
How are you addressing this in a more rapid manner?
So if you think about what tuning actually means, it's typically broken down into 3 separate phases. The first is, how do you take threat intelligence? How do you turn that into some sort of action? Typically, that takes a long time, weeks, months. You have to read it, analyze it. These are very technical documents. The action that you're typically taking is usually writing a test or a simulation against your current environment. So how do I take that theoretical attack and turn it into an actual attack to stimulate my own endpoints? And the last thing is, and the vast preponderance of time, is how to create a detection. So when people are talking about tuning their EDR, what they usually mean is adding manual detections. So all 3 of those steps I just mentioned are super manual today.
You're still going to create gaps regardless.
Yeah, the world's too complex. The gaps are going to happen naturally. And so if you think about even the 3 steps I just mentioned, taking a full month, for example, to kind of create a detection from a piece of threat intelligence, adversaries are moving way too quickly for that. And so the challenge is, how do you marry speed with kind of efficiency and also, I would say, precision? And that's what Prelude does.
So Spencer, from a product standpoint, how are you actually achieving that?
So we can actually take any piece of threat intelligence. Like I mentioned earlier, there might be an open source piece, a proprietary piece. You can upload any piece of threat intelligence in the world, and we automatically take it and transform it into a test and an actionable detection in minutes. So what used to take weeks or months takes minutes to do. You can actually approve it right away. You can submit it into your environment. You can actually run the test. You can measure the EDR's responses. And if it's missing a detection, you just add the detection. And we do that for every piece of threat intelligence that comes out as soon as it comes out. So all of a sudden, you're moving at the speed of threat intelligence, or moving at the speed of adversaries, what we call machine speed, and not waiting for the weeks or months.
So as soon as it becomes known, you've got a detection for it and a response for it as well, sounds like, yes?
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, if you want to see how you can get that going on in your environment, just check out what Prelude is doing. Here's their web address right there.